The United States and Iran have been locked in deep enmity for roughly 45 years, since the 1979 Iranian Revolution and the Iran hostage crisis, 1979 to 1981. Before that, they were close allies for decades. The conflict is rooted in a mix of historical grievances, ideological clashes, geopolitical rivalry, and mutual accusations of interference and aggression. The story starts in 1953, when the US, with British help, orchestrated a CIA-backed coup to overthrow Iran's democratically elected Prime Minister Mohammad Mossadegh. Mossadegh had nationalized Iran's oil industry, threatening Western, especially British, control over resources. The coup reinstated the pro-Western Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi as absolute ruler. Many Iranians view this as the original sin, American meddling that crushed democracy and propped up a repressive monarchy for 26 years. The Shah received massive US military and economic support, and the CIA helped build his secret police, Savak, which tortured and silenced dissent. This bred long-term resentment. In the 1950s to 1970s, relations were friendly. The US even launched Iran's nuclear program under Eisenhower's Atoms for Peace initiative, providing reactors and enriched uranium for civilian use. Iran was a key Cold War ally against Soviet influence. Everything changed with the 1979 Iranian Revolution. Mass protests, driven by economic inequality, Shah repression, and anti-Western sentiment, toppled the monarchy. Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini returned from exile and established the Islamic Republic, an anti-American theocracy that called the US the Great Satan. The revolution's ideology rejected Western secularism, capitalism, and US dominance in the region. The breaking point was the Iran hostage crisis, November 1979 to January 1981. Iranian students stormed the US embassy in Tehran, taking 52 Americans hostage for 444 days. They demanded the Shah, who had fled to the US for cancer treatment, be extradited for trial. The crisis humiliated the Carter administration, led to a failed rescue attempt, severed diplomatic ties, and triggered long-term US sanctions. Diplomatic relations have never been restored. The 1980s deepened the rift. During the Iran-Iraq War, 1980 to 1988, the US tilted toward Iraq, providing intelligence and arms, despite Saddam Hussein's aggression. Then also in 1988, the US Navy accidentally shot down Iran Air Flight 655, killing 290 civilians, seen in Iran as deliberate. The US labeled Iran a state sponsor of terrorism in 1984 due to its support for groups like Hezbollah. Tensions continued through sanctions, proxy conflicts, and Iran's nuclear program, revealed in 2002. The US accused Iran of pursuing weapons. Iran insists it's peaceful. Iran accused the US of regime change plots and supporting Israel against Palestinians. In the midst of this, there came a brief thaw that occurred. First, the secret cooperation against the Taliban post 9/11, and the second, the 2015 JCPOA nuclear deal under Obama, limited Iran's program in exchange for sanctions relief. But Trump withdrew from the JCPOA in 2018, reimposed maximum pressure sanctions, and ordered the 2020 drone strike, killing IRGC commander Qasem Soleimani, a major escalation. Iran retaliated with missile strikes on US bases in Iraq. Recent years, up to 2026, have seen ongoing proxy clashes, Houthis, Hezbollah, Iran's uranium enrichment advances, and US military buildups. The core issues that remain include Iran's support for anti-US, anti-Israel militias, that is the axis of resistance, the nuclear ambitions and missile program. US sanctions and military presence in the region, ideological clash, that is Islamic Republic versus US-led liberal order. The enmity is structural, mutual distrust, competing regional visions, and unresolved history. Neither side has fully bridged the gap since 1979. The 45-year feud is less about one event and more about accumulated grievances that keep fueling each other.